Hello, Adam Riches from Robust Games here.
And Joseph Riches, also from Robust Games.
We are Robust Games, and we are making Loco Motive, a point-and-click comedy adventure, coming to you on this very platform, Steam, and also Nintendo Switch. And yes, over the next hour, we're going to be popping up periodically to talk development. Any little behind-the-scenes stuff we feel like we want to explain. And what else, Joseph? We're going to be answering questions left and right. So stick around, and yeah, we'll see you in a little bit.
Hi there, this is Paul Zimmerman, the composer for all the music you'll hear in Loco Motive. Loco Motive's soundtrack will feature a colorful mix of different genres and instrumentations, mostly leaning into jazzy sounds you might be familiar with from swing music, film noir, or spy movies.
Now, Joseph, what is Loco Motive exactly?
Loco Motive is a point-and-click comedy adventure that's it's a reimagining of those 90s classics that we love to play.
That's right. We're hoping to bring a lot of that nostalgic feel that people have for the LucasArts classics, but bringing a modernized sheen to it in terms of controls, user interface, and basically how players interact with the game. You're still pointing, you're still clicking, but if you want to plug a gamepad in and you directly control the character, you don't even have to see a cursor. We account for many playstyles.
While researching different potential music styles for the game, I fell in love with how film composers in the 60s and 70s didn't limit themselves when scoring movies in these genres, employing jazz, pop, and even Latin music. Some of the instruments you'll hear all over the soundtrack include saxophones, trumpets, vibraphones, and even vintage synthesizers.
So this tutorial puzzle is quite interesting from a design perspective because we came to this one last.
Yes, originally this was just a quite long cutscene that you would sit through, and then we realized sort of when everything was kind of in place that the pacing was really off here. And it also gave us an opportunity to put a tutorial into the game. So we kind of approached this backwards, like the room was already drawn, everything was already in there, and then we sort of built the puzzle backwards based on what objects were in the room. We deliberately made this puzzle pretty easy. We kind of give it to you as a freebie. we're sort of teaching you everything you need to know to play the rest of the game, essentially.
Yeah. It's one room, and there's sort of limited things you can interact with, and
we literally chain you to the desk.
Yeah.
Oh, Joseph, I'm just getting word that a question has come in.
It has. It's right here. Let's open it.
Through the mail. Yeah, let's unseal this question, shall we? Okay, and our first question is, where did the idea of Loco Motive come from? What are the inspirations behind it? So, Loco Motive started as a game jam. We had been thinking about making something together for a while, and it had been going pretty slowly. So we thought, what can we make in 2 weeks? And we had a few ideas sort of rattling around, but we had to match it to the theme of the game jam. Do you remember what that was?
It was a good time.
Oh, yes, it was a good time. So I remember us sort of sitting there for a long time saying, a good time. And then we just started doing silly voices. And then it sort of merged into us doing sort of this old lady voice. So she was like, I've had such a good time. And that sort of became Lady Unterwald, really. Sort of the main sort of, where the whole story sort of wrapped around her, basically, and her untimely murder, spoilers. And we made this thing in 2 weeks, and people really seemed to engage with it. They really liked it. PC Gamer said it was really good, and that sort of gave us some legitimacy, and we thought, well, let's try and make a full version of that. And here we are, several years later, and it's going really well. Yeah.
Hey, this is Ramon, also known as Bibiki, the sound designer of Loco Motive. My job consists in making all the sounds you can hear in the game, except for the fantastic music made by the composer Paul Zimmerman.
So here we are in the first playable part of the game. So this is Arthur Ackerman. He's being interrogated for the events of the night previously, where his employer, Lady Unterwald, met her untimely end. Now, at this point in the story, he's being accused of her murder, along with a few other characters. And, of course, he protests his innocence, but I don't think they necessarily believe him. And in a pure adventure game fashion, you have to, use the items in your room and see if you can puzzle your way out of trouble. So this is the gameplay of Loco Motive. You're interacting with the environment, you're reading materials, you're picking up items, anything that's not nailed down, essentially. And so in your inventory, you can combine items together to create new items, which progresses you through the story. So if you like narrative, if you like puzzles, if you like pointing, if you like clicking, if you like grabbing items and mashing them together to create new things, this is the game for you. I assume that pretty much encompasses everyone that's ever played a video game. Joseph, have you ever pointed and clicked and then grabbed an item and then grabbed another item and then merged it together and made a new item?
Yeah, many times.
Yeah. It's time for another question.
What can I find in the demo? What does it cover?
Oh, okay. So the demo is about an hour of gameplay, which you are presumably watching right now, if you're watching this live stream. And it follows one of our 3 characters, Arthur Ackerman, and it sort of goes through the first part of the game with him. It doesn't have all of the puzzles that you'll find in the full game. We took a few out in order to keep them as a surprise for the full release and to sort of streamline the demo a little bit. The final game will also have full voice acting. There's no voice acting in the footage you're looking at now, but at release we'll have full voice acting, hopefully, and full controller support. So yeah, lots to look forward to. Yes, okay. So as you can see, someone has broken into Arthur's room, and this is a second playable character who you'll play as later on in the story, Herman Merman. So he's a sort of semi-successful author. He's written a lot of fiction about being a detective, but over time it sort of got to his head.
It's leaked through.
Yeah, he's got this sort of arrogance to him, but he's also completely unqualified to be a detective at all. But that doesn't stop him sort of selling himself as one. So he's a bit of a bumbling character. He's full of insecurities, essentially, but he's putting on this air of confidence and hoping that he could fake it till he makes it, essentially. Now, in the full game, you won't just play as Arthur Ackerman, you actually play as several characters throughout the game. So the first act, in a sense, is you play as Arthur Ackerman. He's an estate lawyer, he's employed by Lady Intervald, and he's got like a Labrador kind of attitude, he's a bit of a people pleaser, he loves numbers, he's got nothing better to do than look at paperwork. That's where he really, finds his joy. If he's got a stack of paperwork to go through, that's his happy place. He's not adventurous, he's not interested in danger, he just wants his quiet little corner where he can work away. Now, what happens in the story is Lady Interval kind of is forcing him out of his shell a little bit. And you've got this symbolism here, as you can see, where she's giving him this suit, and it's replacing his drab bureaucratic wardrobe with something a lot shinier. And it's kind of, we're kind of being like, okay, Arthur, put on a new suit. You're gonna be in this adventure whether you like it or not.
Another question already?
It was quick.
It was quick.
Wow, this is a pretty short one. It says, what languages is the demo available in? And the game. What will the full game have in terms of localization support?
So the demo right now is only in English, but we are actively looking at commands and wishlist data to see what languages we should support. So if you particularly feel strongly about a language you want to see in the game, then wishlist.
Wishlist. Wishlist. Please wishlist the game.
Yeah.
Please. Please, just it's one little push of a button. You're on the page that you can wishlist the game right now. Most likely. Right?
Down there's.
Yeah. I can see it from here.
What you hear in our current demo is an early prototype of our music system. For the full release, my goal is for all locations and even characters to have different themes that transition quite seamless into one another. The ultimate goal for the music is to become a fitting backdrop, but also not to become too repetitive, as players might go back and forth between locations quite frequently as they try to solve the numerous puzzles in the game.
So here we have Diana Osterhagen.
Yeah, she's obviously on the train for something, and seems to recognize Arthur, but he isn't sure who she is.
Yes, there's an air of mystery to her, more so than any other character. And as you can tell, there is a lot of mysteries and stories going on outside of the main event. So you'll find out later on what she's actually doing and who she works for, more importantly.
This just in, we've got a brand new question.
Here it is.
Let's open this right now.
Okay, what does it say? What does it say?
It says, what's the inspiration behind the game?
Wow, did they ask it in an American accent?
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
So it's a bit of a blend between sort of Agatha Christie mysteries and LucasArts.
Yeah, it's like Monkey Island meets Orient Express, basically.
Yeah.
And so the games that we grew up playing, I think we had similar experiences. Like I played like a lot of the old sort of LucasArts adventure games, you know, the classics. Got the Monkey Islands, the Day of the Tentacles, but I also played a few like off-ball ones. I played some Simon the Sorcerer. Did you ever play that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like we grew up playing these games, and I kind of think we've always secretly wanted to make our own one, because these are sort of the childhood ones that we'd be playing on very old beige massive computers. I feel like we're dating ourselves a little bit here. I guess if we had to pick a favorite point and click adventure game, so I obviously really like Monkey Island. I think the second one is pretty good. LeChuck's Revenge. Like everything in there is great, but it has to be voiced. So I think when I first played it, it didn't have any voice, and they went back and added the voiceovers to the games later. So it's between that one and Curse of Monkey Island. That was like the first fully voiced one, and I just feel like the voices really brought that series to life. And I'm hoping that we will have a similar experience when we add voice acting to our game, which we're still a little bit a ways with that, but it's gonna happen. We're planning on it. What about you, Joseph? What's your favorite point and click adventure game?
I really like Sam and Max.
Oh yes, that I really like those ones as well. I like the Sam Max Hit the Road or the Telltale ones.
More Hit the Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. I would have said that one as well if I'd remembered it. Yeah, so that's cool. So what's happening right now is Arthur is losing a very important document to the story. His briefcase did not have the dust-proof technology.
Always got to have it.
He always got to have it. He clearly came unprepared. So the will has gone flying out that window, and now he's in real trouble.
So Arthur's definitely sort of dragged along through this adventure.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it quite funny in our eyes, is he's sort of dragged along against his own will, basically.
So here we see Herman's time to shine. He's assembled everyone in the room. He has the cloth ready.
It's his dream. It's his full enraptured audience.
Yeah, everyone's waiting on him.
Yeah, and he's almost playing to the audience in this scene. In fact, he's almost playing to the killer.
He's loving.
He's goading them. He's like, "I will find you," but as soon as that whistle comes out, he gets spooked.
To make the sound design for Loco Motive, one of my main goals was to be able to create a sound identity for the game itself by giving the characters' actions some unique vibes. Doing the Foley, mixing some other external elements like whistles, mouth noises, or really anything that can be used as a layer of the ghost sound, and setting up the implementation and behavior of those events can bring some sounds we could even consider ordinary into something more special. In the end, all of this tries to boost the player's immersion in the game, so they can play through the different locations and adventures of Loco Motive into an organic experience.
1 second. 1 second. What's that? Another question has just come in.
Oh.
Where's the question?
It's him!
Oh my goodness.
Let's get that open.
I didn't mean to throw it at you.
What's the question?
Sorry. We'll never know. Because I laughed too much. Okay, the next question is... It's not really a question, it's more of a compliment. It says, the character animation in the game is so fluid and smooth. I think that's the same thing. How do you do that? Well, that's a very good question. The answer is a lot of manual hard work. So, everything in the game is pretty much made by hand, frame by frame. So, Arthur's character alone has thousands of frames of animation. Do you remember how many frames he has at the moment? It's quite a lot, isn't he?
I think it's over 8,000.
8,000, okay. It's almost memeable. That's how many frames there are for Arthur. And so a lot of it's been done by me, and a lot of it has been done by our friend Jamie, who is a very talented freelance animator. And there is plenty more to look forward to in the rest of the game. you hear that sound?
It sounds to me like another question.
Another question. Okay, well, let's see, what does it say here? It says, where can I go to share feedback? Or to know more about the game? Well, again, another incredible question.
If you have any feedback for us, there's a dedicated thread on the Steam forums.
Yes, dedicated thread for the demo feedback. So we're looking for any feedback you have in terms of what you thought of the demo. So let us know. Other than that, we have a whole bunch of socials, which are probably popping up on the screen now. I'm just going to point in general directions. Twitter, Discord, and what else do we have? Instagram. Let's throw that up for fun. Yeah, follow us on all of those. Great.
another question.
Aha.
Let's see what's inside this one.
Yes, let's see. How do you approach game design and especially puzzle design? So in terms of challenges, we're always walking a fine line between making the puzzles challenging but not too difficult. I feel like anytime a player is walking around confused and lost, and that's kind of, they're not having fun, and we're not having fun watching people struggle in that way. So the challenge really is like, how do you balance challenge without it being too challenging? And it's really difficult because we've seen a few people play the game at this point, and everyone has a different understanding of these kind of games. Some people know the specific language of playing an adventure game, and other people don't have that.
So that was a design consideration for the tip line, something that's optional but you can use to get a few more hints about where you are in the act.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to like gatekeep any of that difficulty. If players want to get a hint, well, then we want to keep it inside the game and inside that universe. So you'll be able to pick up the phone and the game will know where you are in that part of the story, and you'll be able to ask about specific puzzles. And obviously it comes with its own hold music, because how could it not, which you can hear right now.
all of our playable characters have different perspectives from that night, and their acts will take place at slightly different times.
Yes.
You might get some later perspective on an event you've already seen, or you might discover something about a character that changes your preconceptions about them based on what you played so far.
Yes, it's a completely interconnected storyline, and we kind of tell it through each character's sort of eyes, essentially. So in terms of puzzle design, usually how we start is we sort of start at the end. So we start with the solution to the puzzle, and then we work backwards to what would you need to create that item out of existing stuff.
You generally want to have sort of 2 to 3 chains going at any one time, so the player can't sort of get bottlenecked and stuck on one step that they need to do.
Right, yeah, you want to have like a few things they could be chipping away at, like, or they kind of hit a wall with this puzzle, but they're not like, they can do another puzzle while they think about it in the background. So this is sort of not what you would get in the full game. This is sort of made specifically for the demo. This little peek behind the curtain, and this little spiel that the character's talking about right now, he's hinting at a lot of the things that will happen in the full game. Foreshadowing, exactly. So yeah, if you want to find out what happens to Arthur and Herman and Diana and who killed Lady Unterval, then you have to, get the full game when it comes out this year on PC and Nintendo Switch.
Welcome aboard the Royce Express, where my guests indulge in luxury travel, fine dining, and murder. Well then, who's at hand to catch my killer? There's my trusty lawyer, a would-be detective, and Her Majesty's Secret Service. There's just one problem. They're the suspects. With puzzles to solve, palms to grease, and clues to uncover, they'd better prove their innocence fast, or it's the end of the line in an adventure that's not just nuts. It's Loco Motive!
Well, that's it. Thank you for stopping by and watching our Loco Motive gameplay developer commentary stream. If you want to keep up to date on Loco Motive, you can follow us on Twitter. You can join our official Discord, and we'll be tweeting as well. We have a Twitter. And what's the last thing we should tell you before we go? Wishlist the game. Wishlist Loco Motive. It really helps us as a very small team. It does wonders. Honestly, you'll be really doing us a huge favor if you add Loco Motive to your wishlist today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon, I hope. All right. I've been Adam.
And I've been Joseph.
And we've been Robust Games. And we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.